In this video, we're going to solve some applications of systems of linear equations in two variables. So let's begin. Here we have problem number one. One number is 4 more than 3 times another. Their sum is 16. Find the numbers. Okay, so here we want to find two numbers that are at present unknown. So let x and y be the two numbers. What we know is that one of the numbers is 4 more than 3 times the other. So let's say that is x. X is 4 more than 3 times the other number. So x equals to 3y plus 4. Their sum is 16. So x plus y equals 16. Now we have a system of two linear equations in two variables. We know how to solve this. Observe that here we can use the substitution method. We know that x equals 3y plus 4. We can take that and replace it for x in the next equation. So we get that x, which is 3y plus 4, plus y equals 16. This allows us to solve for y. Observe that 3y plus y becomes 4y. So we have 4y plus 4 equals 16. We're solving for y now. So let's begin by getting rid of the 4. Subtract 4 on both sides. So we end up with 4y equals 12. 16 minus 4 is 12. Now we divide both sides by 4. So we get that y equals to 12 over 4, or simply 3. Now that we have y, we can take that value and plug it in to obtain x. So we now have x equals to 3 times y, which is 3 plus 4. So that results in x equals to 9 plus 4, which is 13. So here are our two numbers. X is 13, y is 3. So let's see how we need to enter these answers. The two numbers are, well, one of them is 13. The other one is 3. Now we check. And we got it. We got the solutions. Okay, another example. The larger of two numbers is 2 more than 3 times the smaller. If the smaller is subtracted from the larger, the result is 8. Find the two numbers. So this is a similar question to number 1. So let's set up our problem. As in number 1, we don't know either of the numbers, so we're going to let the numbers be x and y. And for our problem, we're going to assume that y is the larger of the two. So let x and y be the two numbers, y be the larger of the two. Okay, so our first relationship says that the larger number is 2 more than 3 times the smaller. So the larger number is 2 more than 3 times the smaller number. The other description, the second description, says that when you subtract the smaller from the larger, you obtain 8. When you subtract the smaller from the larger, the result is 8. Okay, so once again, we're trying to obtain x and y. We have a system of two linear equations in two variables, so we solve the system and we will have our answers. This problem we can solve again by substitution, because in our first equation y is already isolated. So let's substitute y in our second equation with 3x plus 2. So we obtain 3x plus 2 minus x equals 8. 3x minus x simplifies into 2x, so we obtain 2x plus 2 equals 8. Now we can solve for x. First, subtract 2 on both sides. We end up with 2x equals 6. That means that x equals 3. So here is our smaller number. We can take that value of x, plug it into the first equation to obtain the value of y. We get y equals to 3 multiplied by 3 plus 2. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 2 is 11. So here are our two numbers. The larger is 11, the smaller is 3. Okay, so I'm going to list the larger first and the smaller second, even though it isn't specified. Okay, so we check and we got it. Another example. An airplane flying with the wind can cover 520 miles in 2 hours. The return trip against the wind takes 2.5 hours. What is the speed of the plane? What is the speed of the air? Okay, so let's imagine what's going on in here. On the one hand, the airplane is flying in the direction of the wind. In the return, the plane is flying against the wind. So let's imagine this. So in one direction you have the plane, and you also have the wind are going in the same direction. So the speed, the total speed will be the speed of the plane plus the speed of the wind. So let's let x be the speed of the plane, let y be the speed of the wind. The question is asking us to find x and find y. Okay, so the speed of the plane plus the speed of the wind should equal the speed of the trip. Now, the trip lasts 2 hours, and the distance covered was 520 miles. So that means the speed, the speed of that trip was distance over time, which is 520 over 6. So 520 over 2, not over 6, over 2. Okay, we know that 520 over 2, when we divide, it results in 260. So when we are traveling with the wind, our average speed is 260 miles per hour. Now, in the return, here's what's going on now. The wind is still going in the original direction, but now the plane is going opposite to the wind. So this time, my average speed will have to be the speed of the plane minus the speed of the wind. So remember that the speed of the plane is x minus the speed of the wind is y. Now, what is it in this case? We have to consider the fact that the time when you're returning is 2 hours and a half, which is 2.5, but the distance is still 520 miles. So now what I need to do to find my average speed is take a 520 and divide it by 2.5. Using a calculator, I believe I have a calculator here. Let me divide 520 by 2.5. $208. So 520 over 2.5 is the same as 208. All right, so since we're solving for x and y, and we have two linear equations with variables x and y, we're going to solve the system, and then we will have our answer. This one now we will use elimination. Observe that if we add the two equations, we will get rid of the y variable. So we get to eliminate y by adding the two equations. X plus x, 2x. Y plus negative y, they cancel. That equals to 260 plus 208, which is 468. Now we can solve for x. Divide both sides by 2. So we end up with x being 468 over 2. 468 over 2 is the same as 234. So what is x? Remember that x was the speed of the plane. So in this case, 234 miles per hour. Now, what is the speed of the wind? I can go back to either equation, solve for y, and then plug in the value of x to obtain y. So, but let me try something quicker. We already have these two equations. X plus y equals to 60, and we also have x minus y equals to 108. Why don't we eliminate the other variable now? Before we eliminated y to solve for x. How about we now eliminate x to solve for y? We could do that. All we have to do is subtract the bottom equation from the top one, so that x minus x cancel out. Then we have y plus y, which is 2y, equals 260 minus 208, which happens to be a 52. Now to solve for y, divide both sides by 2. So we end up with y equals to 52 over 2, or simply 26. So now we know that the speed of the wind is 26 miles per hour. The speed of the plane is 234 miles per hour. All right, so let's check this. So what is the speed of the plane? We found it to be 234 miles per hour. What is the speed of the wind? We found it to be 26 miles per hour. So let's check. Okay, so there we have it. Okay, so those three examples are applications of solving linear equations, two linear equations in two variables. All right, that's all for now.